Hello fans, Steve here from RoboReviews.net to throw another review your way. This week's game is Wet, an action-packed shooter for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. This title puts you in control of Ruby, a gun for hire who can fix any problem for the right price. After a misleading bounty and an attempt on her life, she vows to take down the man responsible and anyone who tries to stand in her way. To simply say this is a shooter would be a great understatement on my part as the reviewer, which is why I'll refer to it by its full genre, super intense, off-the-wall, face-melting shooter. This new genre is one I think better reflects what the gameplay has to offer. Almost everything in the game seems to be put there for the sole purpose of making everything else 1,000 times more badass. If you're just walking around firing your weapon, whatever, nothing special happens. But if you're jumping through the air when you're firing your guns, the world slows down and you can target up to 2 people at the same time. The same goes for when you're sliding under obstacles, running along walls, sliding down ladders. Pretty much any time it would look really cool to kill 10 guys in slow motion. The game adds to this by splashing in on-rail sequences, QuickTime events, and a rage mode where all of Ruby's skills become more powerful and the amount of enemies on screen double to match. Now as you're causing all this carnage, you earn points. The amount of points depends on how efficiently and creatively you dispatch your enemies, and can be spent at the upgrade store to buy weapon upgrades and new abilities for Ruby. I really liked this RPG element in the game as it allowed me to customize the character of my playstyle. For example, I never put many points into sword abilities as I never really used them a lot. I instead put those points into the dual shotguns as I found them a much more satisfying way to take care of enemies at close range. The one problem I found with this system is that if you're not a very efficient killer at first, it's much harder to get points. When you have fewer points, you have fewer upgrades, and as the enemies get harder, your weaker weapons make earning points more difficult, turning the whole mess into a vicious cycle. The game is presented in the style of a 70s drive-in movie, complete with a cheesy opening credit sequence, film scratches over the gameplay, and even commercial interruptions for the concession stand or VistaVision film projectors. This combined with its amazing rockabilly soundtrack fit together to create a unique, fitting theme that's one of the bigger highlights of this game. They decided they were going to make an over-the-top action game and they found the perfect style to frame it in. The story, unsurprisingly, was pretty forgettable. It features a colorful cast of characters with plenty of twists and turns, but overall it just takes a backseat to the fast pace of the gameplay. Without spoiling anything, I'll say that I was disappointed by the ending. What should have been an epic final showdown against 100 guys becomes like 2 QuickTime events. It's like they forgot what the game played like up to that point. The replay in the game comes in the form of the Points Matter mode. In this mode, you can visit any chapter in the game and go through it trying to beat a target score by the end. What makes this mode playworthy is that while in it, you have access to every ability and upgrade from the story mode, allowing you limitless potential in your seemingly endless massacre. I found myself going into this mode just to revisit some of the more fun action sequences with all of the upgrades. As fun as the gameplay is though, the game does have one fundamental flaw in the way of the downtime. The game is filled with high-intensity action sequences where you can make use of all of the skills and abilities you've built up, but the areas in between them just can't keep up. They generally consist of jumping around buildings or scaffolding, killing an enemy or two only every once in a while. While it's not completely boring, it's just not very fun considering how fast-paced the rest of the game is. It's like if between the big zombie moments in Left 4 Dead, you had to play through a stage of Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge is a great game, it's just not consistent with the intense action of Left 4 Dead. With Wet only running around 5 to 6 hours, it doesn't ruin the gameplay, but it does slow it down quite a bit. The bottom line for me is that this is a very fun, great-looking, outrageous shooter, whose only flaws lie in the times when you're not killing people. If you demand the games you play to be long story-driven epics, then this game might not be for you. But if you can just sit down and have some fun, just jumping from cars or planes or giant fireballs, all the while killing 30 guys with double crossbows, then I think you'll get a kick out of this title. Definitely worth checking out if you get some time. And one more thing to check out while you're at it, RoboReviews.net. We've got a bunch more reviews, a couple of previews, and plenty more on the way. We try to get something up every week or so keep checking back and we'll keep putting out videos. Thanks for watching.